So, you're a creator. Whether you're making videos, designing graphics, or just posting online, you've definitely run into this problem, making your work look amazing everywhere. Well, today we're going to talk about two of the most important concepts you need to know: aspect ratio and resolution. You know the feeling, right? You pour hours into making the perfect video, you're super proud of it, you hit that upload button, and what happens? It gets all weirdly cropped, or even worse, it's just a blurry, pixelated mess. It is so frustrating, but the good news is it's totally fixable. So, what is going on here? First off, it's not a knock on your creative skills at all. It's usually just about understanding the frame that you need to fill for each specific platform. So, let's dive in and get this sorted out. And let me just say right off the bat, the problem isn't your content, it's the technical specs. Every single platform, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, has its own unique set of rules for the shape and the size of the videos it likes. Our job is to learn these rules so we can actually make them work for us. Okay, here's a great way to think about it. Imagine you've painted this amazing, beautiful picture, but each social media platform gives you a totally different shaped window to show it off. A super wide landscape painting is going to look terrible in a tall, skinny window frame, right? You literally have to create for that specific window. So, to get a handle on all this, we really need to nail down two key terms. These are the absolute foundation of all digital video: resolution and aspect ratio. Let's break them down. All right, first up is resolution. Just think of this as digital sharpness or clarity. It's the total number of these tiny little dots or pixels that make up your entire image. The more pixels you can pack into the frame, the sharper and more detailed your video is going to look. It's pretty simple, really. More pixels means a sharper, better-looking video. I'm sure you've seen these numbers thrown around. 720p is what we call standard high definition. It's a solid baseline. Now, 1080p or full HD, that's kind of the gold standard for most stuff you see online. It gives you that really crisp, clear image. And then you have 4K, Ultra HD, which is just stunning. It has 4 times the detail of 1080p. Okay, so what about aspect ratio? Well, if resolution is all about the quality of the image, aspect ratio is all about the shape. That's the key word. It's just a simple ratio that compares the video's width to its height. And this one little number decides if your video is a wide rectangle, a perfect square, or a tall vertical slice. And I mean, just look at how things have changed. We started way back with that boxy, almost square 4x3 shape of old tube TVs. Then we moved into the widescreen cinematic 16:9, which is still the standard for TVs and YouTube today. And now, we're living in the vertical age, where the tall 9x16 shape absolutely dominates on our phones thanks to TikTok and Instagram Reels. All right, enough theory. Let's get practical. So how does this actually play out on the platforms you're posting to every single day? Okay, this slide right here, this is your new best friend. Seriously. For your classic YouTube video, you're going to use that widescreen 16:9 aspect ratio. For all that vertical content like Instagram Reels or TikToks, you're flipping that to 9:16, and it just feels so much more natural and immersive on a phone. And then for a regular Instagram feed post, you're usually looking at a perfect square, 1x1, or maybe a slightly taller 4x5. And you'll notice the resolution numbers are custom fit for each of those shapes. That's the secret sauce. And look, doing this isn't just about checking some technical box. It's about making absolutely sure that your audience sees your work exactly the way you wanted them to see it, with no weird cropping or fuzzy quality. It's about protecting your creative vision. But I want you to think about this in a bigger way. This is about more than just numbers on a screen. When you really get a handle on this stuff, these specs become an incredibly powerful creative tool. Let's kind of shift our perspective here. You see, every single time you choose an aspect ratio and a resolution, you're not just following rules, you're solving a creative problem. You're constantly asking yourself, how do I frame this shot so it looks amazing vertically? Or what's the best way to compose this scene for a really wide screen? You're adapting your story to perfectly fit the canvas you've been given. Now, flip it around and think about your audience for a second. When you take the time to format your video so it perfectly fits their phone screen, you're respecting their time, you're respecting their attention, you're making it easy and enjoyable for them to watch your stuff. So yeah, in a way, getting the formatting right is an act of empathy. It's meeting your audience exactly where they are. So if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. These technical rules, they aren't limitations. They aren't holding you back. They are the canvas. And once you truly understand the shape and the size of your canvas, you gain the freedom to tell a much more powerful story inside of it. All right, so now you've got the tools, you understand the specs, you know the shapes. The only question left is how are you going to use them to shape your story? So go on, get out there and start creating.